I want to start this episode off a little different because this episode isn't about convincing anyone of anything. It's about my experience, what I lost and what I gained after I let go of religion. I didn't lose God, I didn't lose spirituality, nor did I lose purpose, just religion. And there is a difference. For a long time, religion was just there. It wasn't something I chose, it was something that was inherited from my family, the community, and the culture. Church wasn't introduced to me as an option. It was introduced as a tradition. And questioning it wasn't looked at as being curious. It was seen as being rebellious. It was always firmly taught not to question God. So I didn't question it. The first thing I lost was certainty. Religion gives you answers fast. Who is God? What he wants? What's right or what's wrong? Who's saved and who's not saved? There's no gray area. No, I don't know. So letting go of religion at first, it felt uncomfortable. And I have way more questions now than I had answers. Because before I started the question, I was certain, even if it's borrowed. I remember me, my brother, and my mama was on a three-way call. We were laughing and joking. Me and my mama always messed with my brother about his religion and ideology. My brother said something to the effect of me not being a Christian. And my mother said, I know if he don't know anything else, he knows Jesus Christ is his Lord and Savior. And for the first time, instead of me agreeing, I paused. It was silent for a moment. Then I replied, I don't know. And that was the first time I didn't agree and it felt cold. I felt like I let my mama down. But I also knew I wasn't sure about that anymore, and I was no longer just following the tradition. Welcome to the Beyond Petty podcast. I'm your host, BZ2700. And on this episode, I'm doing a follow-up from the previous episode on how I survived religion and started thinking for myself. This episode, I will be sharing what I lost and what I gained after letting go of religion. Let's get into it. See, my brother being Muslim, they believed that Jesus was just another prophet. They didn't look at him like God or their Lord and Savior. That's most Christians' beliefs. Because some Christians don't view him as such either. And myself, being in the middle and starting to question everything, I let go of the whole belief or believe. It's either I know or I don't know. I also feel like I lost an identity. Being a believer comes with a label. You know where you stand, you know where others stand. When I stepped away, I was no longer saved. I wasn't lost, and I wasn't backsliding. I was just me. And that felt empty at first. Because when identity is built around belief, losing belief feels like you losing yourself. Not to mention, it's a lonely road, especially when you're the only one who's making this transition. But this feeling was familiar. I had been making a lot of different changes and decisions that I was doing by myself. I had started changing my diet and eating more healthy. My family was still eating the same way as normal. That too felt lonely. Because when you elevate and start doing things differently and you feel like you're doing the right thing, you want to bring people with you. But not everyone is ready for that drastic change. And not everyone sees things the way you do. But they say when God chooses you, it ain't for everybody. Or something like that. Basically, focus on one's own calling other than seeking validation from others. And sometimes, elevation requires separation. Everybody won't be a part of your journey. But this one hit harder than I expected. See, religion isn't just belief to a lot of people. It's their whole life. It's a routine. It's belonging to something. And a lot of the time, it's bigger than family. When you start believing quietly, people notice. When you question openly, people start to become distant. Not always aggressively. Sometimes it's subtle. Their conversation changes. Invitations slow down. They start moving different. And their whole energy changes towards you. Then you realize some love and connections were conditional. Now that's the part that hurts. I started losing my whole family behind it. See, once I started to let go of that bondage and belief system, everything became more energetic to me. So I can feel people's energy. They no longer had to tell me how they felt because I can feel it. So even though they made excuses as to why they were becoming distant or moving how they were, their energy told a different story. So yeah, I lost a lot of things. Real things and people. But here's what I gained. I gained honesty, and with myself first. I stopped pretending I believed things that didn't make sense to me. I stopped forcing agreements out of fear of losing others or making someone else happy. I stopped saying amen to things I didn't understand. For the first time, my thoughts matched my words. That alone felt like freedom. Religion often teaches you what to think. Letting go of it taught me how to think. I started reading differently, listening differently, questioning without guilt. Not to replace one belief with another, but to understand. I've always been curious, and there's a lot of information out here. All I have to do is ask the questions and do some research for myself. I started learning how to use Google, YouTube, and ChatGPT, and that changed everything. But I won't lie, that was a long, lonely phase. When you're no longer who you were, but not yet sure who you're becoming, that space, that's where most people run back. Not because religion is true, but because uncertainty is uncomfortable. I just sat in it. And then I noticed the growth happening. That's when I started interacting and adding like-minded people. And even though we don't know each other, it's good to be able to join in circles and communicate with like-minded people. It's good to know that I'm not alone. You can be thousands of miles away, but the internet make us feel like we're right here with each other. Let me be clear about something. I didn't leave God. I didn't choose darkness. I didn't lose my morals. I let go of a structure that stopped making sense to me. And I chose honesty over fear and programming. That's it. I'm not sharing this to attack anyone's faith. I'm sharing this for people who are quietly questioning and afraid to say this isn't working for me. If religion works for you, genuinely, I'm not mad at you. Continue to do what fits you. But if it doesn't, don't be afraid to ask questions and see what else is out there. Remember, this religion didn't exist when they said Jesus walked the earth. And according to the scriptures, he didn't tell you to worship him. Even if so, it wasn't through Christianity. But that's a whole nother conversation for a different episode. Right now, I'm not claiming a label. I'm not replacing one belief system with another. I'm seeking knowledge. History, context, truth, wherever it leads. And I'm okay not knowing everything yet. That's peace. I didn't have that before. So I'm going to leave you with this. What if questioning isn't rebellion? What if it's growth? If this episode hits you, comment. If you disagree, comment. This is the Beyond Petty Podcast. I'm out.